Welcome to Young and the Loveless. This is your lovely host, Domo-La. I have my lovely gang right over here to the side of me. To my right, I have Mr. Live in the Flesh. And then to my left, I have the lovely Koko. She is our honorary guest for our very first episode of the podcast.
I'm
Hi,
excited.
Koko.
Hey.
Beautiful.
You guys are beautiful. This is what Black excellence is. And I'm always like, if I should be at the table, and I'm looking at you guys and I do see a reflection of myself. So thank you for having me here.
She got bars. Like gorgeous and bars. I like that. Thank you.
That's how it is with authenticity, in the spaces. So with that being said, I definitely want to touch on who you are as a person. Of course, the podcast is going to be about love and life and relationships. But in order to truly love, you have to have self-love. And so we're tapping into self-love today. I'm going to start with my friend Stone to my right. And I'm going to ask him a little bit about himself, who he is, what he got going on in his love, life, and situationships. But we're going to back that up. And talk about, him as an individual first.
Not love, life, and situationships.
Look, let me whoop.
Man, that's saying a lot right
like,
there.
Allegedly.
All right, so like she said, I'm Stone, aka Mr. Live. So I am who I am, and that I am. So that's how it goes. There's no definition. Like I was saying earlier, I kind of do a lot of things. I'm involved in a lot of things that make people feel happy, warm, motivated. I like to inspire. I aspire to inspire always. So I do that in a barbershop, and I do that nationwide during trap and paint events. And
South of Trap and Paint.
yeah, South of Trap Canvas.
I've been at a few events, and yeah, it go up.
Yeah, and I also dabble in consulting in a lot of entertainment projects. So yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
That's exciting.
All right. And then for myself, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm an artist. I am a lady who wears many hats. I've heard the jade of all trades, if you're feminine. So for me personally, I definitely love to be involved with individuals like these. I love to be around folks who are creative, inspiring innovators, have their own mind and kind of, walk in their own path, but also monetize it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not out here just working for free. We're not out here just, all that. So with that being said, I'm going to toss it on over to Koko, and she's going to tell us how she makes this world a better place.
Yeah, so again, you guys, my name is Koko. I'm a spiritual practitioner and life coach. I'm just someone here to make people's lives better. I feel like I've experienced a lot of things in life that led me to working in the cannabis industry, hosting cannabis events, life coaching, spiritual coaching. And right now in this world as we know it, I am on your podcast being a wonderful, lovely guest of yourself.
First, and I'm honored. I appreciate your time and energy.
I'm telling you, like when I say that this studio, you guys, if you don't know where we're at Black Screen Productions. This studio, this cast right here is going to change your experience in life.
Shouts out to Black Pro. Shouts out to Black Pro. Cam is the man with the plan. So y'all better talk to him. If y'all in South Sacramento, Oak Grove area, El Dorado Hills, Bay Area, wherever you're coming here to Sacramento and you need a space, it's a lovely one and it's very, very welcoming. So
I was like, reach out to Black Screen Pro. That's kind of what I do. I make sure, I was telling you earlier that I don't really feel like I do anything. I just do what God asked me to do.
Amen.
And that journey was very, very hard. And I went through a lot of trials and tribulations and had to turn on people, even my family, just to get to this place today.
Talk your ish. So, we are talking about self-love today. And like you said, you had to ultimately sacrifice a lot of certain situations and had to have that discipline and, keep that faith. So what was a situation for you that you feel like was like that turnaround moment in your life where you're just like, okay, boop, I'm done. I got to start lumberjacking and cutting people off and kind of just, turn the gears for a better self,
Yeah, I can, and specifically the moment, I'll give you a little run through of my life. I was married at the age of 19, got divorced by 23.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So. Oh my God, I've known this lady for a minute. I didn't even know she was married. I'm like, somebody done wiped her and dropped her. I'm tripping.
Oh no.
I'm
I was
irritated.
crazy, you guys. I wasn't the person who I was today. I didn't have God in my life the way I did right now.
Okay.
They were still slipping. I'm sorry.
Still, even right now.
But you dodged a bullet. Obviously, you dodged a bullet because you're glowing. So.
Thank you. So after that, it just became this experience, and I'll talk a little bit about my spiritual experience that turned things around for me. And so after I wasn't married, I was out in the club and I was kicking it pregnant. My apartment was getting remodeled. So I was like staying in a hotel at the time.
Right.
So I'm kicking it with my cousin, inviting friends over, party night after night. Like I'm at a hotel staying. So eventually at one point I'm talking to my friend on the phone, and he was getting ready to go to jail. We have an argument about Trump. I was like, hey, whatever. I go to sleep. And in my dream, there was these, I don't know if you guys ever have had any type of astral travel or any type of anything like that. And so, or paralysis. And so I went to sleep, and this black orb rushed towards my body. My dream restarted. The same thing happened. Something got in bed behind me, and I felt it, and it was warm. My dream restarted. After that, like every time my dream restarted, more figures were like popping up into my room. And I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Jeez. And I got up out of my body, my astral body. I looked around, and if you know dreams and you study dreams, if you tell the time and it doesn't make sense, it was like L374. I was like, okay, I don't know what time that is at all. Wow. And I was like, I either can go through this door or I can go back and like try to get in my body. So when I kind of like woke up, I went back to my body. I just like rushed back to my body, and I woke up and I just started crying, and I was like, my life needs to be different. And I got a job working at Amazon. I was working at the Seahawks at the time, just doing like alcohol enforcement and security. And fast forward, I was just kind of staying with my parents. Like the whole situation happened with like the apartment and hotel. I just started to stay with my parents, go back to school. And my parents said I couldn't stay with them anymore. I was like, you guys want me to get back on my feet, but I can't pay rent here. And I love my parents. Like, I'm not trying to put my parents down, you guys. I love them so much, but like from where they come from, they had to get it from the mud. So it's like their kids are older, go do your own thing. We had to do our own thing. So it was a little bit more tough love. And I couldn't stay with my sisters. I couldn't stay with my friends. They were just making it seem like I couldn't get back on my feet. But it was like, I'm going through like something right now where I was living with a man. I wasn't.
Where you can't even like, you know, it's like you're sporadic. And it's not intentional.
Exactly.
Like,
you can't get on your feet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, no one really had faith in me. Then I went on this girls trip, met this rapper who's from Sacramento. I'm not going to mention his name.
Okay.
But he was fucking with me for like 2 months while I was going through this transition of like sleeping couches on couches. He's like, I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Come out here. I came out here, and it was really, he was trying to make me some 304, like bottom bitch type shit. There was other women in the house. I was asking who they were. I was like, I'm the owner of this house, you know?
See, and it was like crazy. You being young too, on top of that, it's kind of like that.
It was weird. And so I know that he probably thought that I was a little bit dumber than I was, but I came out here and I was already doing marketing and events. So I just started doing that, and I got into, and this is the situation that really turned things around for me because shit was already going bad. I met this guy, and I wanted to buy this car, and it was a Mercedes. And he was like, well, what do you want it? Let's test it out. Like, what? And I was like, you know what? I don't even know what's happening in my life. Me and him were just having a conversation while I'm like test driving the car. And I was like, fuck, I really don't know what's happening. Like, who I am. Like, who are you? And he goes, girl, I'm the devil.
What?
Yeah. Ooh. And I'm like, what? Because you just don't say that like to anybody.
Pause. Like, see, and on a spiritual tip, you know, that is what I would consider a vessel being used.
Correct.
Because it wasn't homeboy saying that weird ass shit out of his mouth. It was the fact that he was so low vibrational in that moment, whether that was under the influence or in a, you know, bad intentional mindset, to where he was able to be utilized by that entity in that moment that wanted your greatness and your godliness that would have prevented you from being in a space like this.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that's deep.
No, it was crazy.
That's scary. That would have given me chills. Well, I probably would have ended up like, I would have been click, click. If I had something on me, Lord forgive me. You know, allegedly, I would have had to fight and beat that case, because homeboy would have had to back up off me with that.
I knew it was crazy.
I rebuke that in the name of the Lord, okay?
But I feel for what I was going through at the time, I needed the car. So I was like, okay, let's do the deal. I feel that I'm very heavily protected by God and my spirit guides and my ancestors.
Amen.
So I was like, let's make the deal, whatever happens after this. And eventually I got caught into like this contract type of deal where I had to see him like all the time and give him money. And like he was trying to hit on me all the time. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm really not looking for this. And I was just kind of saved after that. But after that moment, it was like, as I had the car, just horrible. I was staying in a trap house. I was staying on the floor. Everybody was saying that I was doing such a good job, or like, oh, why can't you, help me? And I feel like a lot of people that live in that low vibration, that they are trying to get out of like their own mess or own like, chaos that they've created. They don't care if you're trying to get better. They just want to know that they're doing better than you. And so that's why people are there for such a long time. Yeah. But that was something where it was just like, okay, I see that no one has my back. I see that the people who say have my back don't. I can't go to my parents. So you do turn to God and you do say, hey, whatever God is out there, I'm trying my best. I'm going to show you that I'm going to try my best. And then just really synchronistic situations just kept happening to me, and it just kind of led me to the point that I'm at today.
I love that.
That's dope. That's dope. That whole "I'm the devil" thing, that's crazy.
Yeah, you'd be
People
surprised.
just out here saying stuff.
That he said that so boldly. That's wild.
Like they say it with your chest. He said it
Yeah.
with his whole chest.
He did.
That's
He didn't
wild.
flinch at all.
Because I've seen people that I feel like had that in them, like that demon, but no one so boldly just own it. Like I've never heard of
No.
that.
I met a guy yesterday, and he was just like, the devil always runs with me. And I said, well, wonderful you met me. I'm your guardian angel. You know,
Period.
I feel like, because if you guys don't know a lot about like the color system, the chakra system, the reason why they call it infrared is because red is like literally the last color that you see out of all of the colors. Like you don't see black after that. It just goes completely red from like the color spectrum scale.
Right.
And so that's why it's called hell or the low vibration. It's because usually in that vibration, we see things differently. And because they're talking about all this alien and metaphysical talk now, a lot of people don't think that there's extraterrestrials out here that have special powers, or people don't think that their body structure, like we're made out of crystals. That's why crystals work for us, one. But that's why also you're like, oh, we were thinking the same thing. We have an aura and like magnetic. More of like as we look at emotions, right? They fluctuate. So we can't necessarily put them in a category of like bad or good. It's more of like what you're
What
experiencing
resonates.
at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
a lot of the time when people are angry and they feel like this hurt and they feel like, you know, like I don't have control of anything, your aura field might be black, it might be red, it might be
Right.
low vibrational. Also with our aura, there can be cracks in your aura as well. So that's how sometimes people's thoughts get infiltrated with like negativity or sexual thoughts, or, you know, they want to kill somebody. It's just like, you're already thinking bad about yourself. And if you don't have a positive narrator in your head, it's only, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like, it's a loop and you're going to go back all the time. But I will say with that color spectrum, the red chakra is the root chakra. So that's going to be the security that you feel, or the insecurity that you feel.
Foundation.
Exactly. Feeling that you can trust people, or feeling like those insecurities that people have of just having like an anxious attachment or avoidant attachment. A lot of that stems from your root chakra. I don't think it will ever stem from the other chakras, because if you never feel safe, it's always going to go back to the root chakra. It's never going to go back to the sacral. It's never going to go back to the solar plexus or the heart chakra. And then a lot of the upper chakras deal with a lot of intuitiveness and logic, not so much of like emotions and like stability and things that are tangible.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I hope I'm like, what am I talking about today?
Man.
I'm like, you keeping up?
Yeah, a little bit, for sure. That's interesting. It's super interesting. I don't know a whole lot about the chakra, and I'm assuming that's associated with like the practice of Reiki.
It's just a spiritual practice. So
Right.
chakras have a lot to do with, I learned my practice, Indian, it's Ayurvedic work. And
Right.
so it's a more of like an Indian way of like holistic healing. And they deal a lot with the chakra system. I think a lot of like Western ways are starting to use it for other things. Like I don't want to bring like the LGBTQ into that at all. But if you look at the chakra system, the LGBTQT, right? TQ, their flag is reverse of the chakra system. And usually the things
I
that
never knew
they,
that.
yeah, so it's like usually a lot of the things that they represent. I'm not saying if you're gay, you like, you know, the opposite sex or the same sex, like there's anything wrong with you. It's the people who are behind the agenda. And then everyone was just like, oh, well, I feel that same way too. And there's a category for me, but that's not necessarily the category that should be spread to everybody. It's a whole organization behind it. It's not just people just being a group of you liking different genders or like, identifying yourself in a different way, because there's other ways to do that.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So
Yeah.
let's talk about sexuality. Do you identify as single, but you can completely
I'm a single black
single
girl. I'm
pan?
dating.
Do you consider yourself cisgender? Do you consider yourself just a woman? You know, how would you identify? Because me personally, I just am who I am. I don't like to label. A lot of people like to put labels on it, you know, to solidify or to establish. But for me personally, I just love love. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm a lover girl. So for you, like, what is your?
I mean, I would say I'm straight, heterosexual. I am attracted to women, and I've done things sexual with women.
I just think
but
women are just beautiful.
Women
no
are
matter
beautiful. I don't like, you see a woman, you'd be like, I'm not
I
really into
agree.
women until you see somebody that's like, God dang.
I'm like, because you know, you have a lovely lady at home. So
I
this
love
gentleman, he
women.
is a straight male, you know, and it's
Very straight.
straight straight as an arrow, okay? But, you know, it's always good to have healthy conversations with a variety of individuals and not to think in a box, you know, especially when it comes to 2024 and how, you know, things are gearing more into, you know, being free and more fluid, as they say. And so in relationships, a lot of people feel like, you know, you have to stick to a certain modern, you know, form of dating, whether that's monogamy, this, that, da. For you personally, what is your ideal, like, relationship? What do you, because I know, girl, you, like you said, you want to travel, no babies, no time soon. Team no babies, I'm with that. But
we love the kids.
the
Trick love the
overall
kids.
goal in, you know, in 10, 15 years, where would you see yourself settling down type of thing?
Ooh, okay, that's very interesting. I would say the type of relationship that I would have, it's not so much as of, I guess, if I have kids or if I'm married, I would like to be with someone that does share the same journey, even if we are different people, of wanting to get to know myself, getting to grow and help others in the community, and just being a servant of God, to be honest.
Amen.
Yeah, I think that everything does align, and I've dated people with kids, had wonderful relationships, had dated people that don't have kids, had horrible relationships. So I think the person that I'm with, one, has to be sure of themselves, and then also not be afraid to just
That self-love,
try.
you know?
Yeah, and then again, giving back to yourself. I give back to myself in ways where it sounds very simple: taking a bath, doing my nails,
That
taking
love
time
language,
to do my hair.
you know?
And I feel for men specifically, if we can get on that topic, they don't necessarily know where they fit in when self-love comes into play, and they think it's, I should get a massage from my girl, or my girl should be showing me things, or maybe I can go to the gym.
Not all of us.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask, what type of love language?
I get manicures,
I'm
pedicures.
like,
My girl don't massage anything. I go get massages. I go to the chiropractor twice a month. Like, I really love myself. Like,
What led you to that point? Like, when did you change and say, you know what, these are things that I deserve?
At a very young age, I've always cared about appearance. I was raised that way. I was raised by women, so I always cared about appearance. And I want to say like 18, 19 years old, I didn't like my nails. I just didn't like how, you know.
Let me
thought
see them
they
things real
they
quick.
could be cleaner, right?
Right, they look good, y'all. They sparkling.
I just felt like, you know, they could be cleaner.
Mine, for real, for real.
And you know, at that age, like, you know, guys are like, that they're not doing that. That's for girls, you know.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a nail shop, like, I'm gonna try it, right?
And that taps back into that, like, not being in the norm type of thing, because it's like, there's
it's
nothing
not.
wrong with being a clean.
Oh yeah, I definitely
man,
got.
you
I
know?
definitely got clowned. Like, I definitely got joked. Like, oh, you gay? Oh, next thing you know, you're gonna have colors on your fingernails.
Oh, my
this, that, and the
goodness.
third, or whatever. But I'm a 44-year-old man, and I've been getting manicures and pedicures since 19 years old. I ain't changed.
Well, if I may ask, because I think that there will be some men who are listening, like, what is some advice that you can give the men who feel like they want to start working on self-love, but one, they're embarrassed, they don't even know what it looks like, they don't have people to go with? Like,
Well,
I think it's a...
I think for a man or a woman, for anyone, I think self-love, self-care is not giving a damn what anyone thinks about what you do to make yourself happy. That's rule number
major
one.
Key.
Right?
That's a
And
major key.
I've done things in my life where, you know, my sexuality has been questionable. Like, at 14, I started a career at dancing. So I was a choreographer, background
Hip-hop
dancer.
dancing in this thing.
And at the time, you know, the only guys that were dancing were homosexual guys.
Yeah.
You know? So it was like, you know, and I did hip hop and I did modern dance, and especially in modern dance, right? So it was always people joking and teasing. I didn't give a shit. Because ultimately, it all worked in favor for what I was doing in the long run. And, you know, I was also in a band. We got a record deal. I went on tour with some of the greatest names, Black Eyed Peas, NERD, all of that. And all of that stuff that they teased me about helped me at that level of my stage performance. And so
I'm like, I love that.
you can't care what people think. Take care of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
do what makes you happy, do what makes you feel fulfilled, and don't worry about anyone's judgment, because the only judgment that matters is God's.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah.
Amen.
I was
Tap into
another
that.
question though, because I also feel some people think that what they're doing right now is self-care. So what does that kind of look like? Because people would say video games is self-care, or, you know, me sleeping all day and eating like the junk food because I deserve it because I worked all week.
I mean, if you deserve to relax, you can relax.
like,
But But
I'm like me yesterday.
if we, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? But I think that too much of anything is not good,
In
right?
moderation
Just
is always
laying around like to love yourself is not, in the long run, it's not loving yourself, right? You want some sort of activity. At least if I'm laying in a massage bed, my muscles are being moved. There's some.
Or if
there's
you're
some action, right?
laying
You don't
to
wanna-
watch the sunset on a grassy,
Yeah.
tapping in, getting grounded into that, soil.
Yeah, because if
little
you're just
things.
laying around the house, you're probably just programming yourself with bullshit on TV. So
So it has to be intentional, I'm guessing.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, everything intentional and with purpose.
Amen. That's so true. Well,
Yes.
I feel like this was a pretty decent run. I'm so sad we didn't get that first part of the conversation, the goddamn podcast. We're gonna cut that part.
What
But
part?
Remember when we were talking about chakras and all that in the beginning? And y'all was talking about spirituality.
But
and
yeah,
everybody's
so
into that.
but we're not. Why are we done?
Well, we're gonna wrap in like.
All right, well, just
5, 10.
if I may, because
Yeah, go for
I
it.
did want to ask, because you seem so well versed in the whole chakra thing, like I think I understand that there was a spiritual moment and you kind of went in that direction, but like, what made you dive into that so deeply?
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel, again, going back to God, you talk about horoscopes, I feel what got me into tarot cards. My life was just shitty. I was living, again, it was one trap house. I was living with my cousin.
Right.
And let me tell you guys, I know we only have a little bit of time,
Right.
but
No, you're
my
perfect.
parents
I'm
kicked
like,
me
I
out.
need to know this. Like,
And
yeah.
honestly, like I want
And I feel
to,
like, they want to know, like, what, like, 'cause
because we gotta leave
you was
it.
laying it, and I'm laying. I want to know.
dropping them gems.
All right, so yeah,
baby.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes. So I was
Yeah.
staying with my cousin at the time, and we were staying with her friend. Her friend was a prostitute. We both knew her, but that was just the life she lived. She was 304 life, you know.
is what it is,
She went
Yeah.
out one night and she didn't come back. She got hit by a car. So we were like, when is she coming home? She has a son. And then we eventually heard she got hit by a car, and then she was staying in the emergency room for like months. So we were like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? My cousin at the time, I love her, but she was very promiscuous. She would have a different guy home every day,
Right.
drinking. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, motherfuckers eating our motherfucking steak and shrimp, motherfucker in the
Product
kitchen.
of her environment, probably.
It's like-
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
This
And
ain't no damn
so-
Benny Hanna. Get the fuck outta
You
here.
know what I'm saying? And so other people lived there, so I just wanted things to be different. So I guess it came to a point where shit was so bad that I was like, I hate where I live. I'm waking up every morning. Nobody else is working. Everybody else wants to do this trap shit. And I was like, started looking at tarot card readings. And then what happened was, this is what happened. I started having a spiritual awakening. And what that looked like, it makes you look fucking crazy. I thought the same car was following me at the same place. I thought that people were always paying attention to me. I kept seeing the exact
You're
same
giving
guy
me chills,
downtown.
bro.
And when you go through it and you're telling people like, no, I swear it's the same car. I swear it's the same person. Like, I swear these things are happening to me. And then you start diving in. I started learning about, like Project Bluebeam and like how the government has like sound emitting like missiles,
Chemtrails.
and chemtrails and how they're affecting our body. And so I really dove in, and every day it was like finding someone who talked about, his name was Ra. What's his name? Nizar Ra. And that was somebody that I was talking and just not talking to, but I was watching him on YouTube
Right.
and getting information. And I was like, okay, let me learn a little bit more. And then as I was learning more about spirituality and horoscopes and what horoscopes were, it's a completely, like, if you live in this world now, you think reality of you going to work 9 to 5 and going to the grocery store, this world is a completely different universe. And so I was like, just the more I dig, I was like, okay, I'm into horoscopes now. I'm into tarot now. Like now the things that I was saying and why people were treating me bad was because I was speaking the truth to them and I didn't know I was speaking the truth. And so things just started clicking
It's
for
like
me.
your perspective went 180 in a lot of different ways.
But it shattered a lot of like, I thought that I was crazy. My friends thought that I was crazy and I had to keep it to myself. And I could see my chaos of how I felt reflecting on the outside just by like, I was living normally, but like my parents not wanting to talk to me, like my sister not wanting to connect with me, my best friends don't care how I feel. And I'm like, why is this like this? And so one day I was like, you know what, God, I'm tired of this. Like, use me as your muse. I'm tired of people in my face playing with money. I'm tired of people playing in my face about they don't give a fuck about me, these relationships. I was even dating a guy at the time, and when my friend died who got hit by the car, he was like, oh, what do you want me to do? I'm sorry for you. And just kept playing video games. And I was like,
just so disengaged.
yeah. So I was like, everybody was just kind of acting like they didn't care about me.
Because
So I
it
was like,
wasn't
God, I know
resonating
you
with
care.
you anymore. It was like you were shedding that old skin, and you had to, continue to push towards God.
Well, it was like I was
I
being
think-
pulled. God like pulled
I was
me.
gonna say, I think differently about that experience. I think hindsight is a gift, right? And I think that these people treated you that way because they saw your glow over you before you did. They knew who you were before you were, and it irritated them, and they got enjoyment of seeing you in a bad place
Like
because it made them feel like
Yeah.
they were okay, right? And so I think that that's all that it was. And when you found yourself, that didn't matter anymore. But before that, that's what.
I know. Here, that was powerful. Thank you very much for that. Because you hear that all the time, but then it's really like you have to live it for you to understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what that was for you.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
You guys are also spiritual too. Talking about me. You guys know what's going on.
I've lived some life.
Read the hard
I've lived
way.
some similar
Gang.
things. So
Well, we all look very young. I think we all.
yeah, well, you
easily
guys
look
are
under
young.
30.
I'm
You're also young.
old as shit.
I'm like,
but-
imagine if we didn't live hard lives. We'd be over here
Yeah.
looking like,
Infant.
Well,
literally.
I'm not gonna say I lived a hard life. I think obstacles came
Blessings
my way,
on top of blessings.
trials
for sure.
came my way, but I always lived by a motto since about 18, 19. A very profound moment in my life.
Yeah, he
if
been
I-
traveling the
If
whole
I
globe.
can't
So.
fix it, fuck it,
Yeah.
and that's how I
Wait,
live.
run that back.
Yeah.
If I can't fix it, fuck it, because if it can't be fixed, it's gonna persist as a problem. So why stress about it?
That's what I tell my clients.
And if it
Hashtag
can be
merch.
fixed, fix it and move on.
If it can't be fixed.
Fuck it.
I love that because I don't know. We're syncing today because that's what I tell people. I tell them like, okay, let's talk about whatever the issue is. Can you fix it? No. Okay, can you fix it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's
you're
it.
good. We're
Yeah,
good to
we're
go.
good. That's it. It's that simple.
If you
really
can't
that
fix
simple.
it, folks,
Fuck it.
fuck it. And on that note, we will conclude
Yes.
this segment. I appreciate you. Like I said earlier, you're amazing.
All right, so events coming up will be, we got Trap Events events coming up in Fresno, Stockton, February 23rd and February 25th. So tickets at trapxcanvas.com.
So yeah, what about you, Miss Lady? What you got going on for the man?
Yeah, so I'm going to be working with you guys with Black Screen Productions. We're going to be having some modeling collaboration, like memberships here. Also, I do something called Mind, Body, Soul Challenge every Sunday with my Panacea Sundays. You can tune in at 12. I just kind of give people everyday advice on their mind, body, and soul, and it's a 1 hour segment.
Well, I love that, and I hope that I'm able to attend because me, I'm like mind, body, spirit, all that, aligned and imagined.
And then also want to give Koko an opportunity for people watching or listening to follow you on the platform.
Oh yeah, my personal is going to be Not Your Average Koko, NOTYOUR. My cannabis page, if you guys ever want to get walked in with any products or anything like that, is going to be Koko Canna Club. And my spiritual page is going to be Project Trilogy.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. And while we're at it, you can find me on Instagram at Domo-La.
Let's get it.
And lovely DOMO_LANEE on the Insta, as well as all platforms, Spotify, all that, for the music too. Alrighty, well, it's a wrap, folks. Have a good evening and stay tuned for more content.
Peace.
Peace.
I promise you, this will never be another person as mentally tough as you in your entire life. And he hasn't. And he will.
On to the next. So sick of my ex, ooh. Not tryna flex, but I know the love I gave you was the best. Ooh. Connected like a Bluetooth. I do everything that you do. Must be hoodoo, maybe voodoo. Can't control me, this ain't Hulu, no. I had to switch up the flow. Looking at me like I put an X on you, but it's the karma you sow. You look at me and looking back at you, I bet the homies gon' tell you you're stupid. All of your sisters gon' chat up like Cupid. Don't drop off my bags, I'm popping new tags. Your girl can keep all of the bags that I had on. The niggas I hope I can miss. Got a few things to get off my chest. Can't breathe without you, boy. I'd rather be straight to the neck. Blowing smoke in the air, cause you keep me depressed. Never knew you had it in you, but you hit me with the crisscross. Couple headshots, then you hit me in the heart. Yeah, should've let you go, but I'm stuck up on the bounce now. Perfect love. Should've been
we crashing. I'm sailing on my own. I thought I could be your captain. You let me swim alone. You jump ship, now we crashing. I'm sailing on my own. I thought I could be your captain. You let me swim alone. Sail, used to be weak and frail. 22 years in hell, but in love as well. I got brothers and sisters that's born in that fire, they stitching our tails. I lost my brother and sister, I don't need nobody, I'm wishing you well. Throw a coin in that well, make you wish, only thing I wish for myself. I wish that you would get out of your feelings and realize that all of that power don't help. We could have been something amazing if you would've held up your head and helped yourself. All I can be is your peace, but I can read peace if you ain't got peace in yourself. You jump ship, now we crashing. I'm sailing on my own. I thought I could be your captain. You let me swim alone. You jump ship, now we crashing. I'm sailing on my own. I thought I could be your captain. You let me swim alone.
Yo.